guess I made the assumption that it was about getting people to deal with
probably
memories,
they try to figure out how traumatized we are. Yeah.
Has this film, since it came out in Israel in June, has it led to sort of a discussion?
Oh, major discussion, but not political discussion as I was expecting. I was expecting it to be categorized as immediately as a left-wing, anti-Zionist, all the usual stuff we get when we do films like that. And none of that happened. And more than that, the film became the darling of the establishment. I mean, everywhere I go, the consul is waiting for me, and they pay to, send the film all over the world. They have reception that's kind of weird if you think how the IDF is shown in this film. But still, they support it tremendously for two reasons, in my opinion. First one, that it shows Israel as a very tolerant country, because it was heavily supported by a couple of government funds. And then you see this is an ex-soldier, he went through things and he can say whatever he wants. And it's okay, because he's one of us, He was there. And then, at least in Europe, where people do know a lot of Middle Eastern politics, for a lot of them it was the first time to realize that Israeli troops didn't do the massacre literally. They didn't pull the trigger. It was the Christian regime. And this is a propaganda the Israeli government couldn't buy for money. The film does it. So they keep sending
it. At the end of the film, we were just talking about it over on the side as we were watching the credits. It lists production babies, and 3 of the, did you say 8?
8 production babies.
8 production babies, 3 of them were yours.
I was pretty busy making film. Kids, filming.
And you've said that you made this movie as much for your sons.
I wanted to dedicate this film to my sons, but my wife wouldn't let me. She said, why dedicate them a film with bodies in the end and so depressing? Maybe one day you make a nice love story, and you can dedicate this for them, So, of course I did what she said, and now I just try to dedicate for all the kids on stage whenever I can.
But I read a quote from you saying that you made this movie for them.
This is my anti-war declaration, basically. I couldn't phrase it in any different way. And I really hope when they grow up and they see the film, that there will be not a lot to discuss about, because this is how I see war. This film, it was complicated because on one hand, I wanted to show war in a very non-glorifying way. No bravery, no glory, no glam. Unlike a lot of American anti-war movies that, they tell those kids, listen, this is the movie, you see war sucks, but the guys in the movie are really cool. And no, seriously, and they take it the wrong way. They say, yes, war sucks, but I want to be in Iraq now, because look at the guys. Look at the bravery issues. Look about friendship and everything. And I didn't want to like this side of war, because I can't see it anymore. And on the other hand, it was really essential that those soldiers, the Israeli soldiers, won't show in the movie as if they are victims, okay? Which is very popular now in Israel. They have this term, the shoot and cry genre of Israeli movies about soldiers, that they have to go to war and shoot other people, and then they go back home and they cry and they break down. Because, there were other victims in different scale in this episode. So it was complicated in terms of narrative.
So let's mix in some questions from the audience here. This gentleman right here.
Were a lot of the dialogue from people that verbatim, or was it modified?
He's asking if the dialogue was verbatim from the people in the film or was it modified?
Well, there are 9 interviews in the film, and 7 of them are real people like I am in the film. So this is me, this is him, same guy. And a couple of them, on the last moment before the soundstage shooting, they got cold feet and they didn't appear for bizarre reasons. You know, like one of them didn't want the guys at work to know he's a pothead, he smokes pot, and so we had to bring an actor on board, and we listened to the original recordings and we wrote it again, and he did it, and we invented new face of the guy. So a couple of them are actors that we invented a new face, and they just said the monologues, basically, or the dialogues that I had previously with those guys in the research. And all the other 7 are the real people.
Straight back in the striped shirt.
Lovely film. Do you feel that there's any possible extra messages from this film for people in Israel, possibly, for example, dealing with racial attitudes?
With racial, what? What was the last one?
Racial attitudes, Arab versus...
Honestly, I just don't believe that films can change the world. I do think that they can build bridges between people, small bridges. You know, like a lot of screenings I had in Europe, and Palestinians attended those screenings, and there were discussions afterwards. But I mean, it can't change really public opinion, unfortunately. It was weird because we met the head of the Sony Studios when they distributed the film here yesterday. And I told him about the reaction in Israel, and he said, I can't understand why, I mean, the extreme majority of the people, they love this film. Yeah. And on the other hand, the extreme majority, they support what's going on in Gaza every day. And I told him, this is typically Israeli. I mean, yes, we think this film is essential because it shows you what war is, but sometimes, you know, we have to do what we have to do. And it's very Israeli, so unfortunately it did not change anything, really.
Yes, this gentleman right there. Yes.
How did you create how did you decide upon creating a very unique animation style?
The basic of the animation is flash animation. It's cutout animation, but it's cutout animation in the most extreme version that you can even dream about. Each field is divided into sections, and each section into a subsection. And if you're looking on a human face on the screen, it consists probably of more than 200 sections that they moved, each one separate. It is crazy work, really. And this guy, Oni Goodman, the director of animation, he really invented this technique, and he was the only one who could do it easily. All the other guys, they really struggled. And so this is the basic, and then we have some 3D shots, which are mainly spectacular shots, aerial shots, to go between scenes. And the only real classic animation, frame by frame classic, like Disney style animation, is the Waltz scene. This is it.
And this is only the second Israeli animated movie, right?
Yeah, the first one was made in 1961. Stop motion film, Joseph and his brothers.
A rich tradition that you're carrying on here. This gentleman right there, the hand, yes.
Yes.